Split and Steel was reworked in patch 3.23 of Path of Exile, with the old version that used to use Call of Steel to pull back your projectiles to power up your attack being removed from the regular version and turned to the transfigured version, making the transfigured version actually the old version and the normal version a new version that, in my opinion, greatly improved the quality of life. Removing one lower button that we have to click, so we basically never have to call back our steel shards. If you played the old Splitting Steel, that is gone from the original Splitting Steel version now. Splitting Steel Champion was a somewhat popular league starter of this league, but all were built basically essentially the same way, using dual-wield swords, using a Bell Timber Blade, and Dream Feather Unique seem to be over like 66 2/3 of the player base. I want to see how this build felt leveling up in Solo Self-Found and how it fared beginning mapping. I ended up taking this build all the way through red maps, completely Solo Self-Found on minimal gear, just whatever we could find on the ground basically. Champion is historically a good league starter with good built-in defenses / fortification, and adrenaline to carry the build early for any sort of attacking build, which is why we were playing Champion. I'm ready to switch this character to a trade league to get a couple of necessary uniques, test it further as we go into our mass bossing. But I want to share with you where the character is at as of now, completely Solo Self-Found, and what kind of gear we're rocking, and just how the character feels. It's felt super well going so far, and that's why I'm going to be taking it further, testing out a few different setups for this ability, and then a few different champion-related skills I want to test out as well before 3.24 league start. That being said, let's jump into where the character is at, and we'll talk about what we're going to be doing next as we transition this to a trade league character. Alright, so let's jump into the character. Before I do that, do me a favor, click the like, subscribe button down below if you find this content interesting, and let me know what you think about the X-Queen League and what you're looking to league start test. And check out the previous video where we tested out Scourge Arrow Menace Poison setup without tinctures, without charms, the way it was used in this league start. Just wanted to test out actual base skills. We never got a true feel of how the Transfigured Gem felt like. So far, I'd have to say though, Splitting Steel has felt really, really good, probably better than Scourge Arrow Menace. But that could also be because the Champion is just an extremely, extremely strong class. For league start, Adrenaline can basically make any build feel good, and getting perma Adrenaline with our life tap and Corrupted Blood setup right here. Life tap Corrupting Fever, proc Adrenaline pretty much whenever we want. Feels really, really strong, and it's true classic Champion setup. That being said, we finally got Splitting Steel to a 5-link. We're just entering red maps. This is a brand new characters atlas. We were over halfway through our atlas progression. Started a few red maps, so making good progression here. Been super fun. We're going to take this character to Trade League, as I said, but I want to go over just where the character's at and how it's felt so far. I'll do a little bit of a outro with some mapping, but the character feels really, really good. As I said, we're using a unique axe that we pick off the card. We're using two-handed axes. I think the skill has to start with two-handed axes until you can get a sword or two swords that feel really, really good. Axes are the way to go, so just add the most damage. This unique one dropped. I've been using it basically since like Act 10, I think it dropped, so nothing special, just good fizz roll, decent attack speed, and we're not even doing crit yet on the build, so this build actually has like a few more steps to go, but we need some uniques and some item readjustment to get that figured out completely. So look at the rest of the gear. It's pretty standard stuff. We have armor, evasion, bases everywhere. It's really just stuff to fill out our life pool and our resistances. Nothing crazy here at all. We did get a really nice helmet from Rog, but other than that, this is just some really basic stuff. Let's check out the tree. Tree's a little bit wild. We spread across a whole lot of scenarios. The rough part about using axe start is that your two-handed mastery, your axe masteries are down here. Kind of out of the way because we really want to be using the spell suppression, all this kind of fun stuff over here. Crit chance, projectiles. Splitting Steel is of course a projectile skill that uses your weapon, similar to like Spectral Throw or Spectral Helix. You click Splitting Steel, it goes out, it splits when it hits its end of its path or target. They'll go back out, and then we are using return projectiles, so they actually return. We use returning projectiles because when we face a monster, let's say pretend Lily is a monster, we will sit here and basically all the projectiles return and stack on top of her. This creates a shotgunning effect on top of the enemy, and that's what we do for bosses. Along with that, we're using Ancestor Protector, gives us an attack speed buff, and then we're proccing Adrenaline. So it ends up being quite a bit of attack speed actually. Run into mana issues when we're not leeching though. Other than that, we're going to be reworking this tree when we get off of Axis. We're going to drop some of this, move these points over here, reallocate into crit. And of course, I'll go over that in a follow-up video to this. Actually do that. The other thing I want to test with this build is actually doing a fizz to cold conversion build. I think this build could look really, really good fizz to cold version. Of course, champion gets a huge aura scaling effect from inspirational. Hatred is probably one of the best auras in the game if you can fit in a fizz to cold conversion kind of setup, and then being able to scale that aura with champion seems like a really good thing to do. So I definitely want to try that out. Other than that, we're going to try out a few different one-handed swords. I had mentioned in the intro that Bell Timber Blade and Dream Feather was the go-to setup. I want to try a couple different swords. Paradoxica, the Savior, using little reflections around. Seems really fun. And then the other thing we're going to be adding immediately to this build is Perseverance Belt to get scaling from our big armor evasion from champion, converting that into attack damage. And then a Fury Valve necklace, which is a necklace that adds +2 barrage, but all projectiles only count as splitting. Splitting steel, of course, is a splitting skill. So these projectiles that fire out are actually split already. There's no downside for us. They actually just become more projectiles. So that is the build of where we're at. I'll come up with a follow-up video as soon as we get more uniques added to the build, do some recalculating of the passive tree, but I'll leave a PoB down below of where we're at right now, just so you can see how the character feels. That being said, we'll jump into some mapping here. Make sure to check out the Twitch stream. We'll be doing the conversion of this live to a crit build with swords, and then finally to a cold conversion build. So Twitch link down below, PoB down below. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.